Hello everybody, you're here with Dunya and Margot. Welcome to Norway. And as part of our Erasmus project, we're here to set up some truth about French and Norwegian stereotypes. We hope that you are going to learn some interesting facts about Norway and enjoy. Baguette.
Realists.
Beautiful. Eiffel Tower.
They're arrogant.
What do you think about when we tell you about French food?
Ratatouille.
Baguette. Ratatouille.
Wine.
Fruits de mer.
Snails. Indeed, in Paris, as well as the rest of France, there aren't only 5-star restaurants, but we're also deeply influenced by every culture and way of eating. And that may be also for our film and book industries.
Like it. I think they have a simpler style of making films, and they don't overdo it. It's not like Hollywood. And I think the simplicity of French films is very relatable.
On connaît peut-être Les Misérables de Victor Hugo, peut-être un peu Voltaire et Le Petit Prince, mais sauf ça, c'est pas super, qu'est-ce qu'on va dire, connu la littérature française pour le Norvégien.
Les livres très connus que j'ai lus étaient donc Madame Bovary, mais j'aime bien les films français parce que les relations entre les personnages sont un peu compliquées dans une autre manière que dans les films américains.
You know that you've made it if your movie is mentioned at the Cannes Festival. Every year, the best actors from all around the world come to France in order to celebrate this tradition that lasts since 1939. This gathering is also a chance to dress up with the most luxurious clothing brand.
I really like French fashion. And I think about like Coco Chanel, Paris Fashion Week. And when I think of like French fashion, I think of people walking around in Paris with huge denim jackets and a kind of experimental style.
Indeed, through the history with Louis XIV, for instance, French fashion has always been a source of inspiration for global fashion. Home for the greatest French designers such as Yves Saint Laurent or Christian Dior, it is certain that France is a country of fashion, and this since the 17th.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Max.
Bonjour, je suis norvégienne.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Sarah, j'ai 16 ans.
I think French is a very nice language. It is an international language. It's really important to use the language in a right system, you know.
All along our trip, the Norwegian point of view on our language is the same. French is a beautiful and even sexy language. French is obviously the language of elegance, disciplines and luxury. And even if people are aware of how hard it is to learn, speaking it fluently is a real asset.
Donc avant de venir en Norvège, je pensais qu'ils étaient assez distants et que j'allais pas avoir de contact physique très proche, mais au final, ça dépend vraiment des personnes, on peut pas faire de généralité.
Avant de venir, je pensais qu'ils étaient tous sveltes, grands, musclés, mais en fin de compte, non. Ils sont vraiment comme tout le monde, enfin comme toute population, c'est très mixte. Je pensais aussi que c'était vraiment une population norvégienne profonde, un peu viking, mais en fait, pas du tout. Donc voilà, il y a vraiment ce mixte entre le traditionnel et le moderne que je pensais pas, auquel je m'attendais pas du tout.
Indeed, some Norwegian families claim to have ancestors here in Norway since many centuries, being associated with Vikings' origins. For example, in St. Bolen, a suburban of Onefos, they're trying to rebuild an old Viking boat. It seems they are deeply influenced by the Vikings' origins, and some of them are even proud of it. It is said that the Viking stereotypes of being blonde, pale, blue-eyed strong men are a bit exaggerated. However, it was scientifically proved that the average Scandinavian height is way more superior to some European communities to be associated with Viking roots. Avant de venir en Norvège, est-ce que tu savais des choses sur la culture norvégienne, c'est-à-dire des noms de films, de séries, de musique ?
J'ai une amie qui m'avait parlé de Munch, Et sinon, ma mère m'avait fait écouter des musiques de Edward Grieg, qui est un compositeur d'ici. Mais sinon, je connaissais pas grand-chose.
Moi, j'avais vu un film sur Netflix qui s'appelle Troll. Et je connaissais des chansons, mais je ne savais pas qu'elles étaient écrites par des auteurs norvégiens.
Moi, je pense comme tout le monde, je connaissais l'existence de Munch et voilà, mais concrètement, j'avais aucune idée. Enfin, je connais aucun artiste ou autre ou écrivain norvégien, donc non, une totale surprise.
Indeed, we wanted to ask some Norwegians if they could confirm this lack of Norwegian culture for France. And this is what they said.
I think we're still kind of stuck in those theatrical times. Maybe partially because we're still holding on to our one famous writer, Henrik Ibsen. I don't think we've mastered the dialogue as well as the French have. I think it's more restrained and it's not as natural sounding. I think we're a little bit behind because we don't have that many experienced people and we don't have the same opportunities here in Norway. And we're not really on trend. We do our own thing. And
Alors moi, honnêtement, je pensais que les Norvégiens mangeaient beaucoup de poissons.
On sent vraiment au sein de la population le soft power américain.
Finally, when it comes to the economic situation and the Norwegian way of life, it is true that since the 80s, Norway has become one of the wealthiest countries of Europe. But it's not because inequalities are less shown that they are not present. So we might have seen a richer way of living in Norway compared to France, but it might be also the fact that there are less inhabitants. It might be easier to manage 6 million inhabitants.
So we're now back in France, the trip is sadly over. We learned so many things about another way of life and we hope you did too. Bye bye!